Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Om Ajnanatirandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रीमद् भागवत गीता की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, I welcome you to today's Srimad Bhagavatam for all session. Today is July 22nd, 2026, and we are in the 545th session. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 10, the Deliverance of Yamala-arjuna trees. And today, or now, the next thing that we are going to read is the prayers offered by NALAKUVARA and MANIGRIVA. But before that, let's go over what happened in the past few verses. The Supreme Lord, he is very eager to make the statements of his devotees true. He is very, eager to do that. And he's very, he is capable of doing that, and that's his nature. He wants to make the words of his devotees come true, to make their statements successful, truthful. And when he does that, he gets great pleasure. And in order to make the promise of his devotee true, if he has to break his own promise, he doesn't mind that even. But his devotees' words have to come true. His devotees should not be defeated. And by doing this, he gets great pleasure. So now Krishna is performing his childhood pastimes in the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj, and there he glanced on the two Arjuna trees which were in one part of the courtyard. And when he glanced on these two trees, he could see that they were actually cursed by his devotee Narad Muni. Then, to make his devotees' words, Narad Muni's words, true, so he by seeing that, the Lord decided, he decided that he's going to make Narad Muni's words come true. So you remember what were Narad Muni's words? Of course, first of all, they will become trees, but then even when they are trees, they will remember who they are and why they were cursed, so that they will not repeat it again in future. And also that after 100 years, 100 demigod years, they will be delivered from those tree bodies by getting the association of Lord Krishna. And then they will get bhakti, and then they will go back to Swarga. These were the words of Narad Muni. So now Krishna, when he saw these Yamala-arjuna trees, he remembered. Remembered means he, by his omniscience, his potency, omniscience, right? The potency of omniscience, he could understand that, the condition of these two trees is because of his devotees' words. So to make his devotees' words, or the Lord decided that he will make Narad Muni's words come true. So in order to do that, what did the Lord do? Remember, what is the Lord's condition now? He's tied to a wooden grinding motor. And Yashodama is not there, and all the gopis also left. However, Krishna's cowherd boyfriends were around him. So Krishna speaks to his cowherd boyfriends. He says, my dear friends, you push me, or you push the grinding motor from behind, and I will move forward. So Krishna is still crawling, by the way. So by crawling, I will go between those two trees. That means those two Arjuna trees. And I will go inside, but this grinding motor is too big to go between both the trees. It will get stuck between the trees. At that time, I will pull on the rope which is tied around my waist. And by my pulling, this rope will be broken. So here it appears, so this is what Krishna is saying to his small cowherd boyfriends. Remember, Yashodamai tied him, and Krishna was crying because he was thinking, now eternally he is going to stay there, being tied to that grinding motor. It seemed to him that now he will never ever be released. Now he forever is going to be tied. And so he was crying. And, he was asking, actually, His Holiness Radha Govind Maharaj explains that Balramji also came. Balramji came and he said, first of all, the boys, right? Krishna told the boys to open up, and they were not able to open Yashodamai's, the knot tied by Yashodamai. It was too strong for them to open. So it is explained, she is in Vatsalya Rasa. Vatsalya Rasa is superior to Sakhya Rasa. So the knot was tied by Vatsalya Rasa, and the boys who were in Sakhya Rasa, they were not able to open. So then they went to Balramji. They said, Balram, your brother is tied like an animal. What? Krishna is tied? Who tied him? Who tied him? Like this. Balramji came. And then some boys said, Yashodamai tied. Still he just said, who tied like this? Who tied? Don't you know who Krishna is? He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Oh, how dare someone ties him like this? So he came. And then Yashodamai was standing there. So this is not now, before, previously. Now Yashodamai went inside. So she said, I tied. What do you have to say about that? So he said, open him right now, like that. So then, don't you know who he is? He is the Supreme Lord. From him, everything has come, all the creation has come. Just by his one glance, this entire creation has come into existence. Oh, so he is the Supreme Lord. And you, who are you then? He says, I am Anantasesh. I am holding up this whole universe on my, this whole Bhumandala on my head. Acha. So Yashodamai said, so all the avatars, they didn't get any other home. All the avatars came to my house only. भागो यहाँ से, नहीं तो पीटूंगी डंडा से. So Balram ji, he just went to Krishna and he said, I told you, don't do mischief. Don't steal butter. How many times I told you? Now you are in difficulty. What can I do? And he went away. And Krishna started crying even more. Oh, he thought maybe Balram will open. Balram also couldn't open. And of course, the gopis, Yashodamai told them, all of you go now and do your chores at home. So the gopis also, they were feeling sorry for Krishna, and they also gave some good counsel that, you should not do mischief again like this. Dekho kitna abhi, how difficult it is for you now. So in future, don't do. So they went away. So only Krishna's some boy, small boys, cowherd boyfriends, they were remaining there. So now Krishna wants to be untied in the Leela. So he's telling, so after Krishna glanced on the trees, Arjuna trees, and he saw the history, and he, learned that, that means he understood that his devotee Narad Muni has cursed them and also gave them the benediction. So to make Narad Muni's words come true, he has to go to the trees, right? So he called the friends and he said, my dear friends, you push this grinding motor from behind and I will pull from the front. And I will go between those two trees because they were not able to open the knot. So he said, I will go between the two trees and I will be able to go through the trees easily, but this grinding motor will get stuck. And at that time, when I pull, then the rope will break because of my pulling. And then I'll become free. And then he says, after that, taking all of you with me, I'll go to all those gopis' homes who helped Yashodamai in tying me by bringing rope. And I'll go to their homes and I'll break all their butter pots. So you help me. So like that, Krishna told the boys. Then, when the boys heard Krishna's words, they started pushing the grinding motor from behind. And little Krishna, without making any sound, he was crawling on his knees. And he came to the place where the two Arjuna trees were located. He started moving towards the Arjuna trees. And while he was crawling towards the Arjuna trees, he is cautioning the boys that, my dear friends, don't make any noise. If Yashodamai hears any sound, then she will come here and she will beat me. So hearing Yashodanandan's words, his cowherd boyfriends were very fearful that they may not make any noise. And very quietly, they started pushing the grinding motor slowly towards the Arjuna tree. And in this way, Krishna arrived near both the Arjuna trees. And after coming there, he started thinking that Narad Muni is my dearest devotee. Therefore, whatever he had said regarding these two persons, Nalakuvara and Manigriva, I will make that happen. By the touch of my lotus feet, I will deliver them. I will liberate them. And also, whatever sins that these two have accumulated in their unlimited billions of lifetimes, all the sins and all the sufferings that they are supposed to undergo as a result, I will remove all of them and I will turn them into transcendental devotees. I will award them bhakti. I will award them bhakti, pure devotional service. Thinking like this, Krishna went between both the trees. Just Krishna went between both the trees. And he came out from the other side. He entered from this side in between both the trees and came out from the other side. And at that time, when he came out, the grinding motor which was tied to his belly, it fell horizontally and it got stuck between both the trees. Why? How the grinding motor fell horizontal? Because everything related to Lord Krishna, such as his clothes, his ornaments, and whatever he uses in his childhood pastimes, all those things are spiritual, transcendental. That means they are conscious Satchidananda personalities. When we look at things with material intelligence and with material vision, then the things will appear material only. In Padma Puran, we find Damodara-ashtakam, and in that, so we all sing, Namastestu Damne. What does that mean? Damna means the rope. So, I am offering my obeisances to the rope which is tied to the belly of Krishna. Why I am offering obeisances to that rope? That means that rope is also Satchidananda. That means it is eternal, it is transcendental, it is full of bliss, and it is conscious. That is why the devotee offers obeisances to the rope. So that when Krishna, so this is Krishna's desire that he is going to deliver these two personalities from the trees. That means he will uproot these trees. For that, it was essential for the grinding motor to become horizontal and get stuck between the trees. Therefore, being conscious, the grinding motor fell horizontal on its own. Not that Krishna made it fall, no. Because it's a conscious person and it is assisting the Lord. So, the grinding motor fell horizontal. So, because of the motor getting stuck between the trees, Krishna was not able to move any further from the other side. At that time, with some strength, he pulled on that rope which was tied around his belly, and that rope was tied to the grinding motor. Because of Krishna's slightly pulling, those two trees, which were thousands of years old, and they were Arjuna trees. Arjuna trees are very deep-rooted. Yet, by Krishna's slightly pulling, they got uprooted. And when they were uprooted, they made such a crashing sound, a very loud sound, by which all the 10 directions trembled. And then, after that, they fell down on the ground. It is said the whole tree, along with its trunks, that means both trees with their trunks, branches, leaves, twigs, everything trembled. And then it just got uprooted and fell down on the ground. But the wonderful thing is, such huge Arjuna trees, 36,000 years old, they were uprooted and they fell down. These trees were so tall, it appeared that they were touching the sky. They were so tall. Yet, when they fell down on the ground, none of the houses in Vraja were damaged in any way. Nor was there any damage to other trees, because it's a courtyard, there were trees there, you would expect, there must have been other trees also. But in the entire Vraja, nobody else was harmed. No trees, other trees didn't fall. You know, in Dhenukasura, when Krishna killed Dhenukasura, it will come later on. But there, actually Balaram killed Dhenukasura, and then Krishna, Balaram, they were killing all the other friends of Dhenukasura. So they would just whirl. The Dhenukasura was in the form of a donkey, ass. So holding the legs, Krishna would whirl, and then, Balaramji, and throw the demon on top of the tal tree. So, by the weight of Dhenukasura, the tal tree fell down, got uprooted and it fell down. But it fell on the next tree, and by the weight of this, the next tree fell, and by the weight of that, the next tree. So one after another, all the trees fell down as if there was a hurricane or something, and they all fell down. But here, nothing like that happened. There's no demon involved here. So even though Nalakuvara, and that means these two Arjuna trees, they were so tall that it appeared that they were touching the sky, still no other trees were harmed, no other homes were harmed in any way. Everything was, unaffected. That means there was no destruction of any form. Just the trees got uprooted. And as soon as the trees fell down, from within those two trees, two extraordinary, effulgent demigods came out. The effulgence that was coming out, emanating from their bodies, was so powerful. It appeared like fire. The effulgence, that means they appeared like fire. They were more effulgent than fire, actually. The effulgence that was coming from their bodies was more glowing than the effulgence coming from fire. And by their effulgence, the 10 directions were illuminated. So these two demigods, after coming out, they started looking here and there. And what did they see? They saw this supremely transcendental blue precious stone, INDRANILAMANI. INDRANILAMANI means it's a very precious stone. So Krishna is compared to a blue precious stone. That means it was so beautiful. INDRANILAMANI. So they were looking, after they came outside, they were looking and they saw this exceptionally beautiful and transcendental INDRANILAMANI. That means this beautiful form, blue form, which was even more effulgent. You see, these precious stones, they emit their own effulgence. Their light is emanating from them. But this blue jewel that they were seeing, who was none other than Damodar, little Krishna, tied to the grinding motor, that means Krishna, they saw that Krishna was far more effulgent than Indranilamani, extremely beautiful, in bluish complexion, and in the form of a small boy. When they got this darshan, and also how did he look? He appeared to be fearful because of the great crashing sound that was produced by the falling of these two trees. So Krishna appeared to be fearful. That means these two demigods, Nalakuvara, Manigriva, when they came out of the tree, what are they seeing? They saw beautiful Krishna, so who was far more effulgent than the Indranilamani, but he looked fearful because of the crashing sound produced by these trees falling on the ground. Yet, even though he was fearful, he was not able to run away. Why? Because he was tied to the grinding motor. So he could not run away. He could not get away from there. So he appeared fearful, but he couldn't get away because of the grinding motor, which was tied to his belly. This was the most wonderful scene that Nalakuvara and Manigriva saw. And getting this darshan, inexplicable feelings were produced in their hearts. That means they got such love for the Lord in their hearts, which cannot be explained in words. They were looking at, gazing at this beautiful bluish child form of Krishna. And Krishna, who is tied to the grinding motor. And how are they gazing at Krishna without even blinking their eyes? And they were tasting the sweetness of Lord Damodar by gazing at him. At that time, it was as if somebody came and spoke to Nalakuvara and Manigriva in their ears. What did they say? It was as if someone came and told Nalakuvara and Manigriva like this: "Hey Nalakuvara and Manigriva, the person in front of you, whom you are thinking to be a small boy, is not an ordinary child. He is the creator of the innumerable billions of universes, and he is also their maintainer. It is his supreme devotee, Srila Narad Muni, by whose mercy you people got the great fortune of touching this Vrajabhumi." So they've been in Vrajabhumi for 36,000 years. How they got this opportunity? How they got this fortune? By the mercy of Narad Muni. And Narad Muni is a devotee of this boy that you're seeing in front of you. And it is because of that Narad Muni's mercy, you got the good fortune of even touching Vrajabhumi. Go and offer your obeisances at the lotus feet of him. By doing this, by offering yourself, by offering obeisances to his lotus feet, what do you say, the pile of sins that you have accumulated in your many, many lifetimes since beginningless. That means there is no beginning since when. You cannot even count how many lifetimes. All the sins that you have accumulated. And of those sins, whatever is remaining now, that will all be removed from your account. And you'll become glorious forever. Eternally, you'll become glorious. Go and offer obeisances to him. Offer your head at the lotus feet of the Lord. When Nalakuvara and Manigriva heard this, they went and offered their obeisances at the lotus feet of Lord Damodar, who was dragging the grinding mortar earlier. Actually, they moved forward in order to offer obeisances. They moved forward towards Krishna. Now, even though they were cursed to become trees, they got the tree bodies because of the curse of Narad Muni, who was none other than Nandanandan Krishna. That means Narad Muni is a devotee of Krishna. Because of committing offense to Krishna's devotee, they were cursed to become trees. So can you imagine how they should be feeling ashamed? We committed an offense to your devotee, and that's why we have become trees. How can we show our face to the Lord? Isn't it? That would be the condition. However, these two, in spite of committing offense to Narad Muni and as a result becoming trees, and who is Narad Muni? Krishna's devotee, great devotee. Still, they didn't feel ashamed. They didn't feel any shame in going towards Krishna and offering obeisances to Krishna. Why? They started thinking, the Lord who is the super soul in everyone's heart and who inspires as Paramatma, who inspires everyone's actions, who is the witness of all actions. What is the need to be ashamed in front of him? What is the use of being ashamed? He knows everything anyway as Paramatma. Is there any point in feeling shame in front of him? You see, I don't know. I'm just explaining. It's like a child, the mother bathes the child, isn't it? Small children. So they are naked in front of the mother. So do they feel ashamed in front of the mother? They don't feel ashamed. Small children, they don't feel ashamed. But if somebody from outside came, they will feel ashamed, isn't it? Because the mother is seeing them, she knows everything about the kids, so they don't feel ashamed. So here, Paramatma knows everything. He is the one. That means without his sanction, you cannot do anything. Of course, he gives sanction according to, and also the Kriya Shakti, Jnana Shakti, everything is flowing from Paramatma only. That is when, this hand is working, the eyes are working. And he is the witness of all actions. Whether you tell him or not, he knows everything at all times. What is the use of hiding from him. Feeling ashamed and hiding from, he knows everything. So this is what they were thinking. Nalakuvara and Manigriva were thinking, what is the use of hiding from him? So therefore they didn't feel even a little bit of shame in going towards Krishna to surrender themselves, to offer obeisances to Krishna. Thinking like this, slowly, Nalakuvara and Manigriva went and stood in front of Krishna. At that time, Krishna inspired bhakti with awe and reverence in the hearts of Nalakuvara and Manigriva. That means it was Aishvarya Yukta Prema, Aishvarya Yukta Bhakti. He inspired that in Gaurava Mishrita Priti. Okay. So Aishvarya Yukta Bhakti was inspired in the hearts of Nalakuvara and Manigriva. Aishvarya Jnana Mishra Priti. Okay. So there is Aishvarya Jnana. What is Aishvarya Jnana? That means Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is Aishvarya Jnana. He has all 6 opulences. He is the Supreme Lord. From him, everything is emanating, like that. Aishvarya Jnana Mishra Priti. Bhakti means there has to be Priti, affection, love for the Lord. But that love, in the case of Nalakuvara and Manigriva, it was mixed with Aishvarya Jnana of the Lord. So such love was inspired in their heart, and they were overwhelmed with that love. Then they folded their palms, and with a voice that was trembling with emotion, they started glorifying Krishna. That's what we are going to see from verse 29 onwards. Nalakuvara and Manigriva's glorification of Krishna. Nalakuvara and Manigriva's Bahirmukhata. Bahirmukhata means basically being covered by avidya. Right? That means the knowledge that I am a spirit soul, and what to speak of spirit soul is meant to be a devotee of the Lord. This is covered by the darkness of avidya. This is called Bahirmukhata. So Nalakuvara and Manigriva, so because of avidya, then next thing is, when there is creation, the living entities are awarded bodies, subtle and gross bodies, and in the subtle body there is false ego, ahankar. Because of that ahankar, the living entity claims to be that body, and claims all the things and people related to that body to be his. Actually, nothing is his, but he claims like that under the influence of ahankar. And how he got that ahankar? Because of being covered by avidya. This is Bahirmukhata. So, Nalakuvara and Manigriva's Bahirmukhata, or their state of conditioned state, being covered by avidya, is compared to a great forest. And in that forest, so their conditioned state of being covered by avidya is compared to a great forest. And in that forest, there are many big, big trees, like banyan trees, big, big trees. What are these trees? Their addictions. They were addicted to women, addicted to wine, and they were intoxicated by wealth, intoxicated by their high birth, by their position as an associate of Lord Rudra, like that. So these are all compared to the various big trees in that forest of avidya, bahirmukata. By the curse of Narad Muni, all these trees were burnt to ashes. Which trees? That means whatever intoxication and bad habits they had, all that was burnt to ashes by Narad Muni's curse. And after that, for 100 years, they remained in tree forms. By that, in previous lives, so before being Nalakuvara and Manigriva, they had many lives in different bodies since beginningless. So in all those lifetimes, whatever sinful activities they have committed, all those samskaras, where are these samskaras kept? In the chitta. So all those samskaras, that means that memory of all those sinful activities and the reaction that they are supposed to get as a result of those sinful activities. Everything got burnt. Everything got burnt in the fire. What type of fire? In the fire of repentance. When they were, for 100 demigod years, when they were in the form of trees, Arjuna trees, during those 100 demigod years, that means 36,500 earth years. During that time, because by Narad Muni's mercy, they had full memory of who they were and why they were trees at that time. Their bodies were trees, but they knew they are Nalakuvara and Manigriva. They remembered everything, what all they did, how they got cursed. At every moment, they were able to remember that. So there was this paschatap, repentance in their heart for what they had done, how they had offended a great devotee of the Lord. So by that repentance, so that repentance is compared to a fire. So by the fire of their repentance, their memory or samskaras of all sinful activities that they have done in the past lifetimes, not just as Nalakuvara, Manigriva, but even before that, in all those lifetimes, whatever, if there are any, right, sins, and then whatever reactions that they are supposed to get, everything got burnt in that fire of repentance. And whatever little may have been remaining after those 36,500 years, that was destroyed by the darshan of Lord Krishna that they got, and by surrendering to the lotus feet of Krishna. Everything was finished. Krishna says, Aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma shucha sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. So when they surrendered to the lotus feet of Krishna, whatever sin or if anything was remaining, first of all by Narad Muni's curse, all those bad habits and everything was removed. And then during those 36,000 years when they were trees, during that time they were repenting. By the fire of that repentance, whatever samskaras they may have from previous lives, all the sins, whatever they have done, all that got burnt. And after that, if anything is remaining little bit, that was completely finished by getting darshan of Krishna and by surrendering to the lotus feet of Krishna. Now, Nalakuvara and Manigriva's hearts became completely pure. And because of their stay in Vraja for a long time, 36,500 years, because of that, they got this desire in their hearts to serve Krishna. That means that desire to serve Krishna sprouted in their heart. Of course, remember, the beginning is by the mercy of a devotee. So, without Narad Muni's mercy, none of this could have happened. That was the beginning. They got the mercy of Narad Muni, and then all these other things also happened. Now, because of staying in Braja for such a long time, now in their heart, they got the desire, this desire to serve Krishna, to do bhakti, it sprouted, it is said. So now we will see that they start offering prayers. Nalakuvara and Manigriva, they begin their prayers. Maybe we can read one prayer today, and then we will do Bhagavad Gita. Text 29. Krishna Krishna Mahayogims Tvam Adyah Purushah Paraha Vyakta Vyaktam Idam Vishwam Rupam Te Brahmana Viduhu. Krishna Krishna Mahayogims Tvam Adyah Purushah Paraha Vyakta Vyaktam Idam Vishwam Rupam Te Brahmana Viduhu. So if you see the prayers by Nalakuvara and Manigriva, they are not so deep like the prayers offered by Kunti Maharani, Bhishma Dev, and what to speak of the gopis and Nagapatnis, Brahmaragit, Veda Stuti in the 10th canto we see. So these prayers are not like that. In Bhagavatam, we will find prayers offered by different devotees, but all of them are not of the same level. First of all, not all of them are pure devotees. When they are offering prayers, all of them are not pure devotees. For example, you see the demigods. You see in the 7th canto, the demigods come and offer prayers to Nishingadev after Hiranyakashipu is killed. What kind of prayers did the demigods offer? They're like, thank you very much. You killed this Hiranyakashipu. He was torturing us like anything. Now you have relieved us. Thank you so much. We are so happy. All glories unto you. We are offering our obeisance. That's all. That means they're not really, they can only go to that level. On the material level, yes, you have relieved. He had stolen, the Pitru Devatas were saying, he was taking whatever our descendants were offering, Shraddha, he was taking all the sesame seeds, he only drank all the whatever water was offered, he didn't give anything to us. These were the prayers. So they are not pure devotees, you understand. You will not find Anyabhilashita Shunyam. That will not be reflected in their prayers. There will be other desires also. Similarly, there are prayers offered by Daksha. Then Daksha means later on in the fourth canto, after Dhruva Maharaj, then in the descendants, then Daksha, when he appears again, Daksha Prajapati, he also performs, he offers the Hamsa Guhya prayers, Daksha offers. But also in the beginning of the 4th canto, Daksha Yagya, when Daksha was performing Yagya, and after that whole fight, Daksha was beheaded, and then all the demigods go to Lord Shiva, and then now they have to complete the Yagya that Daksha had started, but he's dead. They have to purify that place, bring him back to Lord Shiva suggested that, they bring the goat head, and then by that Daksha is brought back to life. But then they invite Lord Vishnu to come in order to purify that place and do the yagya, to complete that yagya. So when Lord Vishnu comes, there also the demigods are offering prayers. So these prayers are not heavy. Heavy means not so philosophical, so deep, filled with rasa. Whereas when you see the prayers offered by Vedas personified, who are the Vedas? The Vedas, all knowledge is coming from the Vedas. The Vedas personified, and they are aspiring to follow in the footsteps of the gopis. So that's a higher rasa. So their prayers are, there's extensive commentary given for their prayers by the acharyas, because they are highly philosophical, like that. The same with Gopi Geet, the gopis, prayers, Nagapatnis, Kaliya's wives' prayers. So they're very deep. But these prayers are not like that. That's the point. Okay. It's more like you are the Supreme Lord, you are the creator, you are the maintainer, like that. That type of praise. So text 29. Krishna Krishna Mahayogim Svam Adya Purushah Paraha Vyakta Vyaktam Idam Vishwam Rupam Te Brahmana Viduhu. So Krishna Krishna Mahayogims. Why Krishna Krishna is said 2 times, So Acharya is explaining Krishna Krishna. Anyway, we'll go step by step. So the translation here is, Hey Krishna, Mahayogi. Hey Krishna, Mahayogi. Why Mahayogi? Yogi. Why Krishna is called Mahayogi? Because he is Achintya. His power is inconceivable. Krishna's potency is inconceivable. Mahayogi. Tvam Adyam Purushah Paraha. Adyam, you are the original person. Purusha means you are the supreme personality. Paraha. Paraha means transcendental. Vyakta and avyaktam. Vyakta means gross. Avyakta means subtle. Vyakta means that which you are able to see. You are able to conceive, that which is gross. And avyakta means that which is not manifest. You are both. So whatever you are seeing or not seeing, everything. Aham sarvasya prabhavo mattah sarvam pravartate. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. Aham sarvasya prabhavo. Everything is coming from him. Whatever you are seeing and whatever you are not seeing, it is all his energy only. So here they are praying, you are vyakta, avyakta. That means you are both gross and subtle. Idam Vishwam. And even the universal form of the Lord, it is made of material elements. Universal form. In the universal form also you have Sthula Virat and Sukshma Virat. Sthula means gross form and Sukshma means subtle form. So your form is Vyakta and Avyakta. manifest and also not manifest. Idam Vishwam, this universe. So, Vyakta Vyaktam Idam Vishwam Rupam Te Brahmana Viduhu. So, this form of yours is understood by the Brahmanas. This Rupa, this Swarupa of you, this form of yours is known by the Brahmanas. So, this is the translation. Krishna Krishna Mahayogims Tvam Adyam Purushaha Paraha Vyakta Vyaktam Idam Vishwam Rupam Te Brahmana Viduhu. So Nalakuvara and Manigriva are saying, Hey Sri Krishna, Hey Param Yogeshwar Sri Krishna, your power, your influence is inconceivable. You are the Supreme Personality and you are the origin of this universe. You are both the, ingredient cause and the efficient cause. You know the difference between ingredient cause and efficient cause? That can be understood with the example of a potter. So, what is the cause of the pot? You can say the cause of the pot is clay. But simply if you keep clay there, it's finished. You need the potter, right? And also the potter's wheel. So the ingredient cause is clay. The efficient cause is potter. So in the case of a pot, there are two different things. Ingredient cause is different from efficient cause. Efficient cause is the potter, ingredient cause is clay. Whereas in the case of this material creation, both the ingredient and efficient cause is the Supreme Lord. So the ingredient cause is his external energy, right? And efficient cause as Paramatma, he is the one who is supplying Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti, Dravya Shakti. So in the case of this material world's creation, universe's creation, he is both the Nimitta Karanam and Upadana Karanam, like that. That means the efficient cause and ingredient cause. Vyakta Vyaktam. And Brahmanas means, who are Brahmana? Vipra. They are learned, isn't it? So the learned people understand, they see this universe, which is Vyakta and Avyakta. They see this universe as your form, because this universe would not exist without you. It's coming from you only. So when they see the universe, they see you. They see this universe as your form. Right. Now, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is explaining what is the context for this prayer. Because what happened before they offered their prayers? They came forward and they offered obeisances, isn't it? They bowed down at the lotus feet of Krishna. So at that time, let's say Krishna asked them, you people are demigods. I am just a cowherd boy on the earth, right? Like a human boy. I'm a cowherd boy and you look like you're effulgent demigods. Why are you offering obeisances to me? So, it's not there. See, the style of the Acharya is like this. The verse doesn't say this. But Acharya inserts these questions in between verses to make the verse more understandable and also makes it more juicy, more relishable. So this is not there in the shloka, but Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is creating a context, a scene there. So why this Nalakuvara and Manigriva began to offer prayers. So imagine Krishna is asking them, I am just a cowherd boy and you are demigods. Why are you offering obeisances to me? So in answer to that, they are saying this verse, Krishna, Krishna, Mahayogims. Tvam Adyaha Purusha. You are a cowherd boy. No, no, no. You are a Mahayogi. You are the original Purusha, the transcendental Lord, from whom everything has emanated, this universe. You are the cause of this universe, both efficient cause and ingredient cause. And this universe is also seen by learned persons as your form only, like that. So they are saying Krishna, Krishna. So now one may get a question, why they are saying Krishna, Krishna 2 times? They can say Krishna. Why 2 times? Because there are 2 people here. So both of them at the same time said Krishna. So because 2 people are saying Krishna, in this verse it is said Krishna, Krishna. So Nalakuvara said Krishna, Manigriva said Krishna. So Krishna, Krishna. That's why 2 times Krishna is written. So they are saying, hey Krishna, you are the Supreme Bhagavan, Supreme Personality. You are Bhagavan. And in that also, because when you say Bhagavan, Bhagavan means one who has the 6 opulences, isn't it? Aishvaryasya, Samagrasya, Viryasya, Yashasa, Śriyā, Jnanam, Vairagyam. These are the 6 opulences. Bhaga. Anyone who has these 6 opulences is called Bhagavan. All these 6 opulences in full is called Bhagavan. So then all the Swamsha expansions of the Lord, like Narasimha, Vamana, Kurma, Varaha, they are all Swamshas only. So they are all Bhagavan, isn't it? All these forms are Bhagavan. But here, you are not just Bhagavan, in that also you are Swayam Bhagavan. Swayam Bhagavan means the original Krishna, the fountainhead. The Supreme Personality of Godhead. That means Ekale Ishvara Krishna Arasavabhritya. So the only master is Krishna, everyone else is servant. So in that also you are Parama Purusha Bhagavan, in that also you are Swayam Bhagavan. That is why you are appearing like a cowherd. Because Krishna said, I am a cowherd, why you are offering obeisances to me? Because original personality of Krishna is a cowherd. That is his original Swarupa, cowherd. Goloka Vrindavan Dham is a cowherd. So they are saying that's why you are appearing like a cowherd boy, because you are Swayam Bhagavan. Also, what else did they say? You are independent. Paraha. Tvam Adyam Purushaha Paraha. Paraha. So they're saying you are supremely independent. Oh Mahayogi, you are Achintya. That means inconceivable. Your power is inconceivable. You are our deliverer. You have delivered us. And you appear to be tied up by a rope. This condition of yours of being tied up, this is also inconceivable. How can the Supreme Lord who is unlimited be tied? This is also beyond logic. All forms are coming from you. How is your bondage possible? It's not possible. That's why it is inconceivable. How Krishna is bound, that is inconceivable. So those who are knowers of the absolute truth, who have Brahma Jnanam, they see this universe, how this universe is formed. So there is cause and effect. Whatever you see in this universe, it is the result of cause and effect. They see this universe which is formed due to cause and effect also as your form. The rest of it we can discuss tomorrow. I didn't read Srila Prabhupada's translation and purport. Now we'll read. Krishna Krishna Mahayogim Stvam Adyah Purushah Paraha Vyakta Vyaktam Idam Vishwam Rupam Te Brahmana Viduhu. O Lord Krishna, your opulent mysticism is inconceivable. Your opulent mysticism is inconceivable. Because it is said, na? Mahayogi. Mahayogi means it's achintya. So Mahayogi, your opulent mysticism, that means your mystic power is inconceivable. You are the supreme original person. Tvam Adyam Purushaha, original person. Paraha, supreme. You are the supreme original person. Then the cause of all causes, Vyakta, Vyakta. Vyakta and Avyakta, cause and effect. You are the cause of all causes, immediate and remote. That means efficient cause and the ingredient cause, immediate cause and remote cause. You are the cause of all causes. Just like, to understand what is cause of all causes, you see, now who is the cause of my body? My parents. Who is the cause of my parents' bodies? Their parents. Who is the cause of their bodies? Their parents. Like this, you go back. Lord Brahma is the cause. Then who is the cause of Lord Brahma? And then you see Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. So you see, and Garbhodakshaya Vishnu is an expansion of Karanodakshaya Vishnu. Karanodakshaya Vishnu is an expansion of Sankarshan. Like that, you go back, you go to Krishna. So he is the cause of all causes. Brahmaji is also cause. My great-grandfather is also cause of my body. But who is the original cause? The cause behind all causes is who? The Supreme Lord. Like that. He is the cause of all causes. So, immediate and remote. So, immediate cause is immediately before me and remote is far. So, he is, and even immediate also. He is the cause of all causes, both immediate. Who is the cause of my parents also? Yes, their parents. So, for me, my immediate cause is my parents. But he is not only the remote cause, he is also the immediate cause. He is both. They also have Paramatma. Without Paramatma, their bodies will be formed. Their bodies will be functioning. No. So he is there as both immediate and remote cause. He is there for everything, everyone. And you are beyond this material creation. Paraha, transcendental. You are beyond this material creation. Learned Brahmanas know on the basis of the Vedic statement Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma that you are everything and that this cosmic manifestation in its gross and subtle aspects is your form. So Virat Purusha, there is Sthula Virat, Sukshma Virat. So in gross and subtle forms, Virat Purusha is what? Virat Purusha, just like you have a material body, but how you have this material body because there's a spirit soul. Like that, who is the soul in the Virat Purusha? Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. And the body is made of material ingredients. And like we have a subtle body, gross body, there is subtle Virat, there is gross Virat, and inside there is Garbhodakshaya Vishnu as super soul. Super soul for on the universal level. So that's why the Virata Purusha is also your form, but it is the material form. Purport. The two demigods Nalakuvara and Manigriva, because of their continuing memory, could understand the supremacy of Krishna by the grace of Narada. Now they admitted that we should be delivered by the blessings of Narad Muni was all your plan. Therefore, you are the supreme mystic. So why they are saying you are Achintya? It's because of your power that we are delivered. This is all your, that we should be delivered by the blessings of Narad Muni was all your plan. Therefore, you are the supreme mystic. Everything past, present, and future is known to you. Your plan was made so nicely that although we stayed here as twin Arjuna trees, you have appeared as a small boy to deliver us. This was all your inconceivable arrangement. Because you are the supreme person, you can do everything. Like this, they are saying. NALAKUVARA and MANIGRIVA are saying like this. So we'll stop Bhagavatam reading here. We have about 10 minutes left. Let's read Bhagavad Gita. Yesterday, we started reading the 7th shloka of the 15th chapter. Mamaivamsho jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana manah shashtan indriyani prakriti sthani karshati. So we discussed part of it yesterday. The remaining we have to discuss. Basically, mama eva amsha jiva. So these living jiva loke, that means these conditioned souls, you will find conditioned souls throughout the universe, in all the planets. But all these conditioned souls are my amshas. In that context, if you remember, we discussed there are two types of amshas. One is swamsha and the other is vibhinnamsha. So here the Lord is saying that all these living entities are my amshas. But we should not mistake that means they are my parts. They are like me. But we should not mistake that because they are the parts, Krishna is saying they are my parts, then they and the Lord are the same. No, they are not the same. So that was discussed. How there are separated parts and there are personal expansion, separated expansion and personal expansion. The living entities are separated expansions, whereas the Supreme Lord's personal expansions are like Rama, Narasimha, Varaha. They are all his personal expansions. Then what is the difference between these Vibhinnamshas and the Supreme Lord himself? So these Swamshas are just like the Lord. Their powers, they are just like the Lord because they are his personal expansions. So what is the difference between the living entities and the Lord? The living entity is also conscious. It's also Chit Shakti. However, the Shakti that the living entity has is minute, Alpa Shakti. The living entity also has knowledge, but Alpa Jnanam and Alpa Shakti. Whereas the Supreme Lord is Sarvagya. He has all knowledge, right? Past, present, future, and of all living entities and everything. He knows everything. But living entity has limited knowledge, like that. And the Lord is supremely powerful, Sarva Shaktiman. And the living Jivatma, he is not Sarva Shaktiman. And he is Shaktiman. He has some Shakti, but not Sarva Shaktiman. Another point we discussed is Bhagavan is never influenced by Mahamaya. Even when he comes to this material world, he never comes under the control of the external energy. What about the living entity? The living entity, even though it is Chit Shakti, spiritual energy, still, because it is so minute, it can be controlled by Mahamaya. It can come under the control of Mahamaya. That means it's covered by Avidya. Avidya is a component of Mahamaya. And because of that, it makes the living entity forget itself. Can Maya do that to the Supreme Lord ever? Can Maya cover the Lord and make the Lord forget himself that he is the Supreme Lord? No. So the Mayavadi philosophers say that we are all Brahman, but now under the influence of Maya, we have forgotten that we are the Supreme. It never happens like that. The Supreme Lord never forgets. Maya cannot cover the Supreme Lord. That's a flaw, a big flaw in their philosophy. So like this, we saw the difference between the Swamshas and Vibhinnamshas. So Krishna is saying that this Jivatma is my Amsha. Mamaiva Amsha Jiva Loke. Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. Sanatana means it is eternal, right? Because it is spiritual, it is eternal. However, it is different from me. Even though it is spiritual, it is different from me. How is it different? Manaha Shashtan Indriyani Prakriti Sthani Karshati. It is constantly struggling with these 6 senses. 6 senses means 5 plus the mind. 6 senses. It is struggling. Manaha Shashtan Indriyani and Prakriti Sthani. It is situated in this Prakriti, material energy. The Lord, even if he comes here, he never touches the material energy. But this living entity is situated in this material energy, covered by avidya and then ahankara and all the body also. The living entity is in this body. This body is material, made of Prakriti. This house is Prakriti, made of Prakriti. This universe is made of Prakriti and the living entity is here inside. So the living entity is situated in this Prakriti and it's constantly struggling. So this is the difference between the Lord and his conditioned souls, parts and parcels. So on one hand, the Lord is saying they're my parts and parcels, they're like me, but they're also different from me because they are controlled by the external energy. They're situated in this Prakriti and they're constantly struggling. So yesterday, if you remember, we also discussed about the Jnani, Yogi and Bhakta, what their destinations are and how one is realizing the same absolute truth as Brahman, the other is realizing as Paramatma and another is realizing as Bhagavan. What is the difference between them? What is the difference? Why they are realizing the same object in different ways? What is the difference? I gave the analogy of a hill also.
Hare Krishna Mataji, it is based on the distance from where they are perceiving.
Yes, Mataji. Yes, so in terms of the hill example, the distance. So what does that distance mean in case of the Jnanis, Bhaktas and Yogis? How would you translate that distance?
The level of bhakti,
yes,
the amount of bhakti.
Correct. Closeness to the Lord. So closeness to the Lord means the bhakti that they have, the amount of bhakti, the intensity of bhakti that they have and the amount of bhakti. So Jnanis have very little bhakti, Yogis a little bit more and Bhaktas have prabala, very intense bhakti. Because of that intense bhakti, they are able to see the absolute truth fully as Bhagavan. But the Jnanis, because they have very little bhakti, they are not able to see the Lord as completely. They're only able to see him partially. And the yogis, they're able to see a little bit more. Okay. That means the living entities in this material world, because what is the theme of this chapter? The theme is for you, how one can, the previous chapter said, how one can transcend the three modes. Only when one does bhakti, avyavichari bhakti, he can transcend. And by doing this, he will realize Brahman. Why he is realizing Brahman? Because Brahman is also supported by Bhagavan only. Therefore, when you do bhakti, bhakti means done for Bhagavan, then you will realize Brahman was said. Then Krishna starts explaining how our material existence in the form of this samsara tree. And then Krishna says you should cut this tree if you want to realize the real. That means if you want to reach that Brahman, you have to cut this samsara tree, material existence. And then you have to surrender to Bhagavan. That's why we said everyone, any type of transcendentalist, everyone has to surrender to Bhagavan. Otherwise, there is no realization of absolute truth, whether as Brahman, Paramatma or Bhagavan. Everyone has to surrender to Bhagavan. Just it differs at what stage you are surrendering. Jnanis surrender in the end, yogis surrender in the middle, bhaktas surrender at the very beginning. But everyone has to surrender. Unless you surrender, there is no realization of absolute truth. Okay. So then Krishna is saying you should surrender. And after you surrender, you will reach that abode from where you don't have to return back. That means you will not suffer the dualities anymore. No more tasting these material fruits of dharma, artha, kama and all that. After you reach that abode. So then what is that Brahman like? That is being explained. So that is, so again, when you say Brahman, you should understand absolute truth. So if you are a devotee, you will realize that as Bhagavan, Krishna and Goloka. And if you are a Jnani, you will realize as Brahman. If you're a yogi, you will realize as Paramatma. But since this section is Jnana Yoga, last 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita is Jnana Yoga. So here, that Parampadam means what? Brahman. Okay. So what are the qualities of that Brahman? It is neither illuminated by sun nor moon nor by fire or electricity, like that it is said. Then that was said in the 5th verse. Then the 6th verse said what? What did the 6th verse say? Natad bhaset. Acha, that was the 6th verse. It's, yeah, that Brahman, it is not illuminated by all this. Then, about this living entity, it is being said, Mamai vamsho jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana, manashashtan indriyani prakriti sthani karshati. So, why Krishna started this verse all of a sudden? After describing Brahman, why is Krishna explaining this? Because what is the relationship? What is the relationship of the living entity with that Brahman? That's being explained here. Yes? That living entity means which living entity? The living entity who is now going to, by following this process of Jnana Yoga, he will achieve Brahman. So now, when he is going to practice, that means this conditioned soul. What is this conditioned soul's relation with that absolute truth? So the Lord is saying, they are my parts and parcels. They are my parts and parcels. They are also eternal, but there is a difference between the two. What is the difference? One is master, the other is servant. Okay? But also we saw the difference is that one is controlled by Maya. Especially here we are talking about conditioned soul. Conditioned soul who takes to Jnana Marga and ultimately will realize Brahman. So what is the difference between the Lord and this conditioned soul? Conditioned soul is controlled by Maya. The Lord is never controlled by Maya. However, this living entity is the Lord's part and parcel. That means it is spiritual. It is eternal. It is eternal. It is spiritual. Still there is a difference. It comes under the control of external energy. And it is struggling in this material existence. It is situated in this prakriti, material energy, and it is struggling with the 6 senses. This is the difference between the Lord and the living entity. So in this verse, the Lord is explaining the relationship, yes, the relationship between the Lord and the living entity. So we saw yesterday about Swamsha and Vibhinnamsha. There is some more to be discussed here, that those jivatmas in this samsara who don't turn to Bhagavan, who live in ignorance covered by avidya, what will happen to them when they leave their body? Because the manashashtani indriyani is said, right? Manashashtani indriyani. That means when they leave, if you don't take to the transcendental path, and if you're not liberated, you don't get Brahma Prapti or Paramatma Prapti or Bhagavad Prapti. What will happen to those living entities who are in this samsara? When they give up their bodies, what happens to them? The living entity, while leaving the body, will carry 6 senses. 6 senses. What are the 6 senses? Mind, then eyes, ears, nose, tongue, skin. 6 senses. Mana Shashtan Indriyani. It is carrying those. And in this way, it goes to a new body. So this is likened to our going to a new home or a new apartment. Yes? So when you move, what do? You pack all your things. Yes? And then call a moving truck and then get all your stuff to a new place, new house. Like that, when the living entity is leaving this body, it will carry. While in this body, so many samskaras were formed, impressions. All these samskaras are stored in the chitta. So in the heart, you have subtle senses and gross senses. Subtle senses are mind, intelligence, false ego, chitta. Gross senses are eyes, you have 10. 5 knowledge senses and 5 working senses. All are in the heart. So all the impressions are saved in your chitta. So taking your subtle and gross senses, the living entity goes to a new body. And once it goes to a new body, it's like when you go into a new house, what do? You just once again organize all your things there, and then you see, oh, it's nice, right? There's enough light coming in this house. I like this window, or I like the location of the bedroom. I like the kitchen and this and that, right? You just become comfortable there. You just get adjusted there. Like that, the living entity, after going into a new body, now starts identifying with that body. If you get a dog's body, oh, I am so and so. This is my kids, like that. But then when time comes, it's like your lease is over, and if you don't pay, then you are kicked out of that house. You cannot stay. Like that, when your time is over in this body, the living entity is kicked out. Again, once again, collect all your things. What is that? Your mind, your senses, and then move on to another body. Now, but anyone who takes to the transcendental path, the way Krishna said, cut this samsara tree and then surrender to the Lord, and then you'll go to that abode from where you don't have to come back. So that abode is compared to going to a home from where you will never be kicked out. You don't have to move to another place. That's your permanent home. So that house is what? Bhagavad Prapti. Bhagavad Prapti. Or even, you can say Brahma Prapti also. Once you go and merge into that, then you're there eternally. Now that house, that realizing, going to that place from where you don't come back, that eternal home, that home is also attained differently by different sadhakas. So if you are getting Brahma Prapti, it is like you go to that home, but you stay outside the home all the time. You can simply stand outside the house. You don't go enter inside the house. And if you get Paramatma Prapti, it's like you get to stay in the veranda. If you get Bhagavad Prapti, it's like you're staying inside the house, like that. So, Manaha Shashtan Indriyani Prakriti Sthani Karshati. There's for how long, if you don't take to this path of, what do you say, if you don't follow the path given by the Lord, cutting this samsara tree and surrendering to the Lord, if you don't follow this path, if you simply continue living in this samsara tree, jumping from one branch to another, for how long will you continue like this? Eternally. It's like Newton's second law of motion. Do you know what is Newton's second law of motion? Everyone knows the third law. Every action has equal and opposite reaction. Do you remember the second law? No. Okay. The second law says, until and unless there is an application of external force, the object in motion remains in motion, and the object in rest will remain in rest. So this is the inertia of motion and inertia of rest. So if you have something on your table, right, it will simply stay there forever until and unless there is an external force applied to it. Similarly, when something is in motion, it will go on moving continuously, eternally, until there is an external force. Even friction acts as an external force. That's why the ball comes to a rest, isn't it? But otherwise, if you don't have an external force, it will continue eternally. So The living entity's material existence is like inertia of motion. You'll just go on and on and on, moving from one body to another, collecting all your senses, mind, all impressions, and go to the next body and create more impressions there and again move to the next body. This will go on eternally. Now, what is this external force? Tell me. What is this external force when applied? Your changing body stops.
At the intervention of a devotee, a sadhu.
Exactly. Exactly. Vaishnava Kripa. That's the external force. Otherwise, we will continue. Sadhu, correct. Because Vaishnava is in the Bhakti Marga. Sadhu can be a Jnani also. So the intervention of a sadhu. That's when your cycle will stop. So now, yesterday we read half of the purport. Let me finish reading the remaining half of the purport and I will let you all go. The living entities, not only human beings and the cats and dogs, but even the great controllers of the material world, Brahma, Lord Shiva, and even Vishnu, all are parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord. See, even Vishnu, why? Swamsha, he is also a part of Krishna. Swamsha. They're all eternal, not temporary manifestations. Even the living entities, you and I are also eternal. And Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, as you know, as living entities, they're eternal. The word karshati, struggling or grappling hard, is very significant. The conditioned soul is bound up as though shackled by iron chains. He is bound up by the false ego, and the mind is the chief agent which is driving him in this material existence. When the mind is in the mode of goodness, his activities are good. When the mind is in the mode of passion, his activities are troublesome. And when the mind is in the mode of ignorance, he travels in the lower species of life. It is clear, however, in this verse, that the conditioned soul is covered by the material body. Prakriti sthani, it is situated in Prakriti. That means the conditioned soul is covered by material body. With the mind and the senses. Mana shashtani indriyani prakriti sthani. So it is covered by the material body with the mind and senses. And when he is liberated, this material covering perishes, but his spiritual body manifests itself in its individual capacity because the spirit soul is eternal. The following information is there in the Madhyandinayana Shruti. Madhyandinayana Shruti. Sava esha brahmanishta idam shariram martyam atisrijya brahmabhi sampadya brahmana pashyati brahmana shrinoti brahmanai vedam sarvam anubhavati. It is stated here that when a living entity gives up this material embodiment and enters into the spiritual world, he revives his spiritual body, and in his spiritual body he can see the Supreme Personality of Godhead face to face. So obviously this is in the case of a bhakta yogi, a devotee. He can hear and speak to him face to face, and he can understand the Supreme Personality as he is. From Smriti also it is understood, Vasanti yatra purushaha sarve vaikuntha murtayaha. In the spiritual planets, everyone lives in spirit, in bodies featured like the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So your body in the spiritual world is made of what? Swarupa Shakti. The Lord's body is made of what? Swarupa Shakti. Okay. So in the spiritual world, everyone lives in bodies featured like the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As far as bodily construction is concerned, there is no difference between the part and parcel living entities and the expansions of Vishnumurti. In other words, at liberation, the living entity gets a spiritual body by the grace of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So as I said, your body is made of Swarupa Shakti. What is your body made of now? It's made of Bahiranga Shakti, external energy. But when you go to the spiritual world, by getting prema, and then you go to the spiritual world, then you get a body just like the Lord. The Lord's body is made of Swarupa Shakti, your body will also be made of Swarupa Shakti. However, you will not, it's not that now when your body becomes Swarupa Shakti, you are also like Krishna, you become Krishna. You don't become Krishna. Living entity is always living entity. What is that? That means we are Tatastha Shakti only. Tatastha Shakti. Tatastha Shakti is marginal energy. Why marginal? It can either be controlled by external energy or by internal energy. It can either be covered by external energy. That means you get a body made of external energy, or you can get a body made of internal energy. So now when the body is made of external energy, are we called external energy? No, we are still marginal energy. Similarly, when we become liberated and we get a body made of Swarupa Shakti, internal energy, still we are marginal energy only, which is now under the control of internal energy. That means at any point, even after liberation, our position in relation to the Supreme Lord doesn't change. He will always be the master, we will always be the servant. That's an eternal relationship, even after liberation. No question of becoming the Lord after you become liberated. Not like that. The words Mamai-Vamsha, fragmental parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord, are also very significant. The fragmental portion of the Supreme Lord is not like some material broken part. Yeah, that's when here you say Mamai-Vamsha. Amsha means my broken part, right? Part. Like you have one pizza full and you take one slice out. It's a part of that pizza. So should we think like that? The living entities are parts and parcels, means if you remove one living entity, then the Lord is now like 99%. He's not 100%. Is it like that? No. We have already understood in the second chapter that the spirit cannot be cut into pieces. This fragment is not materially conceived. It is not like matter which can be cut into pieces and joined together again. That conception is not applicable here because the Sanskrit word sanatana, eternal, is used. The fragmental portion is eternal. Yeah, it's not that at some point it got separated. That's the whole thing. There's no question of being separated. Now, when you say part and parcel, that means at one point we were in the full and now we are separated. We are apart. Is it like that? No. When you say spirit, achedyoyam adahyoyam akledyoyam. Achedyoyam, you cannot break it. The living entity, and nor can it be joined together. It is eternally separated. It's not that at one point of time, the living entity is broken away, is separated from the Lord. It's not like that. Same with all Krishna's avatars also. They are eternally existing. When you say originally Krishna, his first expansion is Balaram, can you trace out when it happened on this particular day at this particular time from Krishna, Balaramji expanded? No. Krishna is eternally existing, Balaramji is eternally existing, Lord Ramchandra is eternally existing. Similarly, all living entities are also eternally existent. And we are all parts of Krishna. Vibhinnamsha and Swamsha. Because this is spiritual, we can only think from material conception, isn't it? From our material experience. But this is not material. For you to understand spiritual topics, you have to have a spiritual intelligence and spiritual mind. Then you'll understand. So for now, simply accept whatever is said until you get spiritual senses. How you'll get spiritual senses? You'll get spiritual senses by the mercy of Krishna, like Dhruv Maharaj got. How you'll get mercy of Krishna? When you actually perform bhakti, perform Shuddha Bhakti, then that will attract Krishna's attention. And by his mercy, all your senses will become transcendental. And then when your senses are transcendental, you'll actually understand spiritual topics, how exactly it works. The fragmental portion is eternal. It is also stated in the beginning of the second chapter that in each and every individual body, the fragmental portion of the Supreme Lord is present. Dehinosmin yatha dehe. That fragmental portion, when liberated from the bodily entanglement, revives its original spiritual body in the spiritual sky, in a spiritual planet, and enjoys association with the Supreme Lord. What do you mean by revives its original spiritual body? Now again, we'll think that means originally we had that body there, and then we got separate, we fell down from there, and now we are going to go back to our original position. Is it like that? No, it's not like that. Original because spiritually there is no creation. there is no point of creating any bodies there. There is no birth in the spiritual world. So when you go back to the spiritual world, you will be awarded an already existing spiritual body. The way when you go to the showroom, you get dresses that are already made. You get a dress. Like that, when you go to the spiritual world, or you'll be awarded an already existing spiritual body. Again, now with this material intelligence, we will try to calculate, but what is that body doing there before I went? Who was there in that body? The thing is, with this material mind, Baba, we won't understand how things work in the spiritual world. What we have to understand is how to get out of this material mess, and how to get out of here. That is said very clearly. The steps are given. How things function in the spiritual world, you'll find out after you go there. Now, right now, you get out of this avidya. Even to get out of this avidya, first you form your dridha shraddha, right? Follow the process that has been given to us. Anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karma dhyanavritam anukulyena kṛṣṇanuṣīlanam. We want to get there. For that, we need firm faith in Krishna. To get firm faith in Krishna, hear the glories of Bhakti and Krishna again and again. Associate with pure devotees. You get the mercy. There are pure devotees filled in Srimad Bhagavatam. You meditate on the prayers of Kunti Maharani, on the prayers of Dhruva Maharaj, on the prayers of Prahlad Maharaj. Read again, take shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam. Here, in the association of devotees, by this build your Dridha Shraddha. Then you will start doing pure devotional service. By dint of your pure devotional service, you will attract Krishna's mercy, by which your senses, mind, intelligence, everything will be transcendentalized. Then with those transcendental senses, you will understand how spiritual world is operating and how things are happening in the spiritual world. Everything will become clear. But now, with material mind, even if we beat our minds, we will not be able to understand. It's not possible, because material things cannot conceive spiritual topics. Because the Lord is inconceivable, right? It's not possible. That fragmental portion, when liberated from the bodily entanglement, revives its original spiritual body in the spiritual sky, in the spiritual planet, and enjoys association with the Supreme Lord. It is, however, understood here that the living entity, being the fragmental part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, is qualitatively one with the Lord, right? That's why Krishna says, Mamai Vamsha. It's my Amsha means it is just like me. So it is qualitatively one with the Lord, just as the parts and parcels of gold are also gold. So that is why achintya bheda abheda. That means we are different from the Lord, we are also not different from the Lord. Bheda means we are different, abheda means we are not different. How can we be both different and non-different? This is achintya. Achintya bheda abheda philosophy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Okay, thank you so much. We will end here. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Jai.
Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Samaveta Gaur Bhakti
Jai.
Thank
you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Pariyana Pavnibhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namah.
Thank you.
Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank
Hare
you,
Krishna.
Mataji. Hare Krishna.